What's going on, you guys? Jay here and welcome back to the channel. So we're diving into a USTC update and I've got a lot of evidence to put forward and really construct this down into a timeline where everybody can better understand how important USTC is going forward. And what we're seeing is a lot of Lunar Classic burning, but we're also going to be seeing a lot of USTC burning on top of that. So don't forget to smash the like button, comment, subscribe, hit the notifications bell to stay informed. So we can see there's been a drastic amount of burning and we've seen that effort bolstered by Binance's recent burn. We also saw TFL move the bulk of the wrapped Luna related assets, and this has resulted in a substantial burn, just over 1 billion. So this is leaving us in a situation where we're going to be seeing so much more burning. Well, everybody seems to be paying a lot of attention to Lunar Classic. With that being said, we are going to see the possible termination of these remaining wrapped Lunar Classic assets, and that will really tie a knot and see a possible $250 billion LUNC burn. But just below that, we can see that there's 177 million USTC as well that will probably burn because the prices between those two coins have always been relatively the same. There's not been much opportunity when it comes to USTC on the wrap side. So we're just not seeing that many redemptions. I do believe we will see a significant amount of these assets burn and these assets here burn. So like I said, no one's really paying attention to USTC, and the circulating and total supply, as you can see here, are significantly different. And this is because we've got a lot of USTC assets wrapped up in things like Anchor Protocol and all of the related wallets that are subsequently involved with that sector. So with that being said, it leaves us in a position where we might see all of those anchor assets burn. We might see a substantial amount of USTC burn, but we've also got a little bit of a problem on our hands we need to deal with. And the idea of this video is for me to give you my perspective on how important it is for us to go in and actually address the Luna Foundation Guard assets, because of the simple fact that TFL has lost all control over them, and so has Do Kwon. And with people like Three Arrows Capital now making a $1.3 billion lawsuit for losses suffered during the crash, what we could see is the illicit use of that USTC that remains in the LFG guard. And it is a substantial amount and it is usable, and it could be done over a long period of time where USTC keeps fighting its way up and sales from the LFG guard just keep it down, whilst making people like this whole again. So what we need to do is really start to construct this timeline and break this thing down. We need to show you the Luna Foundation Guard reserves to begin with. Going ahead and blacklisting this wallet is probably the best thing that we could do. The negative impact from those USTC sales would be a drastic hit for this blockchain that it simply might not recover from. When we look at the amount of assets actually available, they've got a considerable amount of AVAX, they've got a lot of BNB, they've got a lot of BTC as well. So it's not like they've got just one option, they've got multiple options in this case. So I really do think we have a responsibility as a blockchain to go ahead and blacklist the 4 wallets related to the LFG guard. And what I aim to do is really explain this thing to you as best as possible. When it comes to the misuse of funds, the Luna side of our ecosystem just goes head on with it, to the point of where they forced TFL to burn their own assets. We have seen the LUNC community go head on into a similar situation with the Risk Harbor funds, and we saw many proposals go up in regards to blacklisting that wallet, and the end result was seeing a contract migration which went ahead and burned that 800 million USTC. I believe the best course of action is to just go ahead and blacklist the 4 wallets in relation to LFG. Because you're only blacklisting them, this means it's a reversible action. And the reason why you would want it to remain reversible is because there could be a scenario where the SEC decide that it would cause more harm than good utilizing that USTC, and that its original purpose was to serve the Terra Classic ecosystem. So therefore it might eventually return back to us going full circle. So during this time of blacklisting these wallets, we can have the total and circulating supply altered to show the corrected supply, having those wallets now blacklisted, not circulating, and not part of the total supply. This would prevent any illicit use of these funds, and it would put the ball back into our court, and any use going forward of these Terra Classic specific assets would always be subject to a governance vote. Okay, so now you understand how substantial and how important these funds are. Let me show you exactly why I know TFL and Do Kwon have lost control of these. When we go in and we look at the final document produced in relation to that final judgment, we have a very honest perspective when it comes to the timeline and what's supposed to happen with all of these assets. I take note of this section here outlining Kwon has also agreed to transfer to the Terraform bankruptcy estate within 30 days all crypto assets of LFG and his ownership interests in all Pyth crypto asset tokens that Kwon obtained pursuant to a 2021 token grant agreement. This signals to us that the SEC is now in control of all LFG assets. So up here at the top, we can also see that the SEC will recover on its claim after harmed investors and other general unsecured creditors recover in full. So we know that Three Arrows Capital's claim will be coming from this bankruptcy estate where the LFG assets are going to go. So this leaves us in a bit of a predicament. And when we're talking about this wallet list, these LFG assets, it's a substantial amount. And what I've been doing is really going in and crunching down all of the numbers, comparing the circulating supply, and really starting to get a bit of a crazy viewpoint on USTC and just how centralized the supply is. What we need to do quickly is just flick over to the top USTC holders on LUNC Dash and make a quick comparison between the Binance hot wallet and the LFG hot wallet. And between them, they hold 74% of the circulating supply, and the remainder is just floating around between the Oracle rewards pool, the Anchor market, the other Anchor wallets, and just generalized CEXs that are holding very small amounts in comparison to what we're talking about here. So let's go over and let's take a look at my diagram I've prepared, and I've got all of the percentages ready. So what we're looking at here is the circulating supply. And like I said, LFG holds around 31.6%. Binance owns around 42.2%. And then between the Oracle pool and Anchor wallets, there's 20.53%. So when you combine this together, it leaves us with a remaining supply of 5.47%. So what we can then say to ourselves is, during this burning phase that TFL is going to be going through, is it possible that if we minus out the LFG reserve USTC and then take that remaining number, is it the number that really does point to the USTC Anchor assets actually going out and burning? I would say yes in this situation, because Chris mentioned there's a lot of wallets that are just going to have dust in. When I think about a big entity like TFL and what they possibly consider as dust, it could be quite a lot in terms of their understanding of the supply before the crash and after the crash. So everybody's probably wondering, how does that work out with the total supply, Jay? And how this works out is, once again, very interesting. We can see that Binance and LFG are still the centralized bodies that control the majority of the supply. We're possibly going to see the Anchor assets burn, which just leaves the Oracle pool really in that third bracket. So the remaining supply, once you add all of that together and do a minus out, you're left with 38.31%. Well, trying to actually locate that percentage itself is problematic. When we flick back to the top holders and actually take a look, we can see that there are substantial amounts that are held just across many different wallets, but at the same time, there's still a huge gap in the supply. And when I start to run very average percentages to try figure out where this has actually gone, trying to locate it, once again, it's very problematic. We don't know where the remaining amount of that supply is right now. I'm going to keep digging into this and I'm going to keep looking into it. But my primary goal here was to get this all in a timeline and explain to you exactly what's happening with those LFG assets, what the possible outcome could be when it comes to claims, what we can do to counteract it, and that it's reversible. It's not something that is a final decision, and it puts the ball back in our court. I really think we should make every effort going forward to blacklist those 4 wallets and have them excluded from the total and circulating supply. And this really does leave us with one final question, really, from my perspective. Why does Binance have such a substantial amount of USTC and LUNC? Why is Binance both the top holder for USTC and LUNC? Why are Binance so heavily interwoven into our blockchain and not any others? Why do we not see this accumulation with any other coins? Well, my personal opinion is they are accumulating and they're attracting as much trading as possible in order to generate more fees. And those fees can be primarily hoarded until a point where they reach a certain percentage. And it looks like they are getting close with USTC. Just flicking back and looking once again, around 42% of that circulating supply is just currently sat with Binance. They are almost at 50% of the circulating supply. But I'll keep digging, I'll keep looking, and I'll keep bringing you the updates as we go through them. And we're getting ever so close to being in a situation where USTC could be usable. Let's round it up for the end of the video here. We know that the SEC are now in control of LFG reserves. We know that there is a significant amount left in those reserves when regarding UST. The Lunar Classic, not so much, is only 222 million. Having that sold on the market is not an issue for our blockchain. So that's where we can meet in the middle ground. The LFG reserve has a substantial amount of assets left when it comes to non-Terra Classic assets. We know, as per the document, that the SEC intends to make harmed investors whole again. We now know that Three Arrows Capital is also going to be suing for $1.3 billion. We know, as per the document, that this will come from the bankruptcy estate and that harmed investors will receive the maximum possible benefits. So when we start to look at this whole situation and boil it down, we really are left with only a few options. We do not need to worry about anything else on this list. It's all going to systematically burn. If not automatic, it's going to be done manually by TFL, as stated by Chris Amani, the CEO. And the only things we need to worry about right now are these very 2 specific wallets in regards to the LFG reserves. The next steps would probably be getting a Commonwealth discussion up, and if there's positive reaction with that, as there has been in the past with blacklisting and burning different assets, then we could probably go ahead and get a governance proposal up. It does seem like a lot of people are ignoring these assets, which I think is very dangerous. And a lot of people will argue the fact that 1.83 billion USTC could not be sold on the market and the order books wouldn't be able to fill it. What I understand is they'll do this in drips and drabs, as we've seen with Mt. Gox and loads of other entities out there that have gone through these similar situations and liquidations. They could just do it in very small amounts, and every time we start to recover the price of the ecosystem, we've got the SEC selling USTC, which primarily belongs to the Terra Classic ecosystem to begin with, and it was supposed to do good, not bad. It was supposed to bring positivity, not negativity. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section. And something that I don't say enough, if you're on our chain, if you've got LUNC, consider delegating with our validator. We do produce content every day. We've got wallet support, we've got metrics, we've got so much stuff. We're always here. We're not just producing hot air. We're not sat in Telegram groups bickering over how good the garden can be. Instead, we're going in, we're harvesting fruits, and we're replanting for the next season. We're always going to be here regardless of the price. And what keeps me here is your support. That's what keeps me going. And all of that support goes a long way. It enables us to keep all of these metric systems open. It enables us to work on a V2 version of the wallet with swapping features and all of the goodies that you're going to want. And in the future, as we've got more funds available, we'll go ahead and we'll start to look into getting bridges back open. We'll start to look into all of the other things as we have done in the past, and we will continue to do in the future. So don't forget to smash a like, drop a comment, hit the notifications bell on the way out, and just stay safe, stay humble, stay aware, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.